Hi, this is Joe Dustin from Medidata. I'm here with Landon Bain from CDISC. Landon, we are at the Institute of Medicine's EHR-centered research digital learning collaborative. It's long term, but we're in a beautiful building in the National Academy of Sciences in Washington, D.C. And the topic of today was connecting research and healthcare from a number of different perspectives. The one I think that myself and you are very interested in is how the technology actually links through standards and sharing of data between EMRs and research systems like EDC and whatnot. What were the big takeaways that you took away from this?
Well, there's a lot of interest. I think that's safe to say. We had this room was full of people and from many different areas. The agenda, I think, covered the standards participants, HL7 representing the healthcare side, CDISC on the research side, and IHE being sort of a standards development process that can link the two together. We had a good representation of solution providers and vendors, including Medidata, of course, 3 leading EMRs, other research systems. We had representatives from 4 academic medical centers who are all engaged at one stage or another in implementing these technologies. So I thought it was a very successful day. I still think we need, I guess the only thing I would have liked to have seen that we didn't see was more, a crisp project or two that would have paired off and said, Medidata and Epic and NYU were going to go off and do this, or, we had some of that, but it didn't coalesce quite as firmly as I might have hoped. But I think there might be opportunities, and I'd be curious how you would see the opportunities for following up with this.
It's interesting. I think the dirty word of the day was no more pilots. And
Right.
It was no more demos, no more pilots. We've done enough, and it's time to get it done. I think from our perspective, at least me personally, I agree. And I think that in my mind, having all these people in the same room together, I've never been in a meeting that happened. Sitting next to the EMR companies is not something that typically happens.
Right.
And I think that's a step in the right direction. And I think that obviously the big thing is what's the incentive, what's the value to drive to an end product.
Right.
And I still think, and we saw that today, that it's still unknown as to what that real value is to get it done, to get it to the end. This is not a technology problem. I think
No,
the technology is there, the standards are there, we have APIs and services to make it work. In my mind, I think the way forward is to get someone who's willing to take the first step and just get it done.
Yeah, I think the values are there. We haven't done a good job, perhaps, of articulating those values. But if we can create electronic source documents and radically change how source document verification is done, that in and of itself is a potential paradigm shift in clinical research. Simplification of data capture from the perspective of the research coordinators. I think the values are there. We just haven't really nailed them down and articulated them. Or, the best way to do that is to actually implement something and track it, document it, blog it, and get the body of knowledge out there on how to do it and what's the benefit of doing it.
That's great. So I'm hoping we're going to see more meetings like this. I think that there'll probably be some action, and maybe at the next big conference that comes up, or a connect-a-thon or something, we'll be able to show something and maybe tell a story of here are 3 people that went together, got it done, and actually had some good results, and maybe more people will follow. I think that's the hope. All right. Thank you.
I hope too.
Thanks, Landon.
Okay.